Okay, so I'm just going to jump into it. And so feel free to drop me a question in the comments and I will have a look. Put my glasses on in a moment and have a look again. So in an email from a couple, actually, beautiful couple that have been writing to me, I've got a couple of questions that I wanted to address. So the man was asking, how can a man arouse a woman without touching her? And I think this is a really good question, because I think it is the way to arouse a woman, really, is not by touching her. Because if you're touching her too soon, you might very well get her unaroused rather than aroused, because the feminine is very sensitive to touch, and the touch needs to happen. It doesn't mean that she doesn't like touch. She loves touch, but it needs to happen at the right point in time and with the right preparation. So that's something that I could share with you a little bit about. So how can you arouse a woman if you in a relationship or maybe with a new person? So what comes to my mind straight away there is all the things that's gonna help her to feel safe with you, help her feel connected with you, help her feel heard and seen, help her feel emotionally connected with you. All of those things will contribute to her feeling relaxed and potentially open to be intimate with you. Because if she's not, you could try and put on a really kind of, sexy seduction move, but it's probably not going to work because the foundations aren't there. If she hasn't had enough intimate connection with you when it comes to emotional connection, if you haven't paid attention to her, if you haven't listened to her, then she's likely not going to be open to any other advances either. So I'm speaking sort of generally, how the feminine generally functions. And then there's also lots of women who are not like that. Of course, there's always exceptions to the rule. So yeah, the question I put up the other day asking you guys how do you prefer to be seduced, got quite a range of answers from you guys. So everybody's a bit different. There was one guy I think who liked a firm grip and wrestling. I like that one. I don't know if that was a joke or if that was serious though, but a firm grip and wrestling. That's how he wants to be seduced. But most of the other ones were hinting at that they needed a bit of preparation. They didn't want a woman to, go straight to the point. But there was mentioned seduction with sensual dance or mental stimulation, maybe conversations, intelligent conversations. And what else did you guys mention? Yeah, there was a few jokes in there, a few guys that didn't quite answer the question. And I realized that's always a bit of a sensitive thing to expose yourself. But I still want to really invite you to do that, because this group is just for guys. And everyone in here are people who have joined here because they want to learn more or improve their intimate sexual experiences. So in that sense, we're all in the same boat. So I really encourage you to actually, not just joke. I mean, jokes are welcome, very welcome as well. We love jokes, but it's also good to be honest and upfront when needed, because otherwise, that's the classic, isn't it? The stereotype sort of masculinity where guys joke about sex, but they don't actually really talk about sex and intimacy and what really matters to them. So yeah, so I appreciate that as your responses to that last that post, a few guys had mentioned soft fingering, someone said. Yeah, that's nice. So yeah, so a few people had really actually been honest, I think, and a few were joking. So back again to how can you arouse a woman without touching her. So yeah, create the foundations. If you're wanting to have sex with your partner, your girlfriend, or your lover, you need to start working on that way before the moment where you're hoping it to happen. And that means have connection with her. Have connection with her. Have a heart connection with her. There was that saying, yeah, if you want your woman to open up to you sexually, get skilled at touching her heart. I think that was actually Carrie Riley who said that. And that is so true. So true. Get skilled at touching her heart. And that doesn't necessarily mean just the sort of traditional gestures of flowers and opening the door or gifts, even though those are beautiful as well. But even more importantly, it's that energetic connection, that you actually notice her, that you notice who she is, that you're actually interested in her and want to listen to her and find out about her, understand what matters to her. And that might involve listening to some things of, what's happened to her during the day, things like that. And another point that I love, actually, that was, we have a local comedian in my area who writes an article in the local newspaper. And she wrote this thing about how to get a woman, open to sex. And she said the most important foreplay, I love this one. The most important foreplay, guys, is housework. It's housework, especially if your partner, if you have children together, if she's working. It's housework. Because if she comes home from work or you come home and she's been home with the kids and the dishes haven't been done and the house is messy, she's very likely not going to feel like having sex, because she can't relax, because she sees all the mess and goes, oh God, I have to do all that work. Do I really want to have sex now? No, I'd rather just clean up the house. So the best thing you can do is make sure that the housework is taken care of so that she can relax, maybe go and have a bath, get in the mood. And so those surrounding things are really so much, they're so important, because we easily forget those. Yeah. And what else can you do? What else can you do to arouse a woman without touching her? Well, if you've done all those things, yeah, then the next step could very well be to move in a bit closer. And this one's super important, to really be in your masculine energy, to really be in your body, to be embodied. And I know embodiment is a very elusive concept, because it's very easy to kind of not grasp. You can't grasp it theoretically. You need to experience embodiment. And you become embodied when you spend time using your body and connecting with your body and feeling. So very often we see guys who want sex. They might be obsessed with sex. They have sex on their mind a lot, but they're not sexually embodied. And from what I understood, this can also lead to erectile challenges when you're not sexually embodied, but sex is kind of on your brain rather than in your body. So if you're not sexually embodied, you kind of have this body language where you don't have that oomph there. And you all got the oomph. So let me, please understand, everybody has this. We all have sexual life force. But quite often, due to conditioning, you kind of abandon that part of yourself. So you're not really holding and owning your mojo. And that comes across as a man who is kind of a bit collapsed. He's kind of looking a bit like hangdog in his body posture. Very often hunching, maybe sort of pouting the belly out a bit like a little kid. Yeah, that kind of looks like an overgrown little kid. And that energy and body language doesn't signal masculine potency and doesn't spark attraction in a woman. So I'm not talking about your physical looks here. I'm talking about how you are embodying your masculine energy in your body. And that doesn't matter what body shape you have. You can, no matter what body shape you have, you can make the choice to come home into your body and practice that. Yeah, it requires practice. And you can do that through, physical, masculine exercises, like really getting into your body, really getting fit. But it's not just about being fit though. Like you can see also big guys like bodybuilders who kind of very fit and in the, stereotypical sort of masculine way, but they're not necessarily still really they're not really owning their mojo. They're kind of hiding behind that facade of that socially sort of classified image of masculinity. So this is probably a whole other live video on its own. So, but this one is really important to actually get into your body and get into your masculine groove. And it's not just about being masculine as in like strong and stuff. There's also getting into your feminine, also getting into your sensuality and your sexiness, and being able to carry that. And when you carry that energy, and that comes from really spending time with connecting with your own body, so that you really find pleasure in being in your own body. And that's not just through masturbation, it's just from actually being in your body, breathing in your body, moving in your body. And when you do that, you start to have this charisma, this sexual charisma that can be felt. And your energy starts to pull her in. So you're not kind of going after her trying to get sex or trying to stimulate her to kind of get her to get aroused. Women are very sensitive to that. But you're doing it in a way like you're enhancing your own potency by becoming more in yourself, more of yourself, enjoying your body, like, moving around the house, maybe in a towel around your hips after the shower, putting on some music, letting yourself feel good in yourself, letting yourself feel sexy, letting yourself feel alive and vibrant and charismatic. Yeah? And connect with her. Those kind of looks, a look across the room, catch her eye, let her see you, and let her see that you're seeing her. That energetic connection. And if you're coming closer, you can start to do those kind of non-directly sexual, but very attractive moves. Like, that could be anything. There's not like one particular thing. What I'm thinking about, like, you might touch her arm while you're saying something to her. Hey, babe, I was just wondering, and just touch her shoulder for a moment as you're saying that to catch her attention. Oh, so sexy. Yeah. Just like something subtle, or just take some hair out of her face while she's talking. In a loving way, not in a way of like trying to fix her up. Yeah. But in a caring way, in a loving way, in an appreciating way. And we know that you appreciate the feminine. And there might be something like, let her feel your strength as well, in a playful way that is also still not directly trying to seduce her. But it could be grabbing her for a moment, but not in a sort of stereotype, grab her butt or her boobs or something that's too direct. Something like a neutral place, like hold her shoulders for a moment, like, you know, as you connect with her. Or, and these things need to come from a place where you are really certain in yourself, because if you're doubting yourself there, that touch can feel a bit like, oh, he's trying to get something from me, it's a bit creepy. And that's why it really comes to practicing these things and trusting yourself. When you're reaching out to connect, you're reaching out and you're backing yourself 100%. Because if you don't, then she's going to feel that you're not quite there, and that can feel sort of unclear or creepy. And this takes practice. So spontaneity, totality, express yourself, have fun, be fun, connect with her. Grab her for a dance around the kitchen floor, the living room floor. Have a little wrestle with her. Let her feel your strength in a way that you're not straight away trying to seduce her and start doing, you know, sexual foreplay, but actually connect with her body in a way that's not sexual, but playful. Have a wrestle. Have a big hug, you know, a strong, big, beautiful hug. Get her to come and sit on your lap, or it can be rolling around on the floor or on a mattress or a rug. And don't straight away try to seduce her, because she'll expect, if that's been your pattern, she'll expect that you're trying to do that. Oh, he's probably going to try and seduce me. So don't let her go, oh, why isn't he seducing me? You know? And make that part of your way of connecting with her, to connect with her intimately, emotionally, physically, through play and connection, enjoying life together. And it will become, you will come closer and closer to her like that. And it will be that moment when all of a sudden you both can feel the energy, and you just created the perfect setup for the next step, for some kisses maybe, or some more sensual touch, or maybe she will literally ask you to make love with her. Yeah. So that's my rave on how to seduce a woman without touching her. You guys are all amazing, because you all have the intention to want to do something about sex and intimacy. And that's already really, really amazing. And we are so different, the masculine and the feminine, and yet we have a lot of things in common. So, you know, what works with one woman is not going to work with the next. I mean, I think that's the thing that women often complain about, that guys coming from their head when they try to seduce, because he learned that this worked with his last girlfriend, so he assumes that they're going to work with the next one, and she will feel that you're trying to you're following some kind of script, and that's going to put her off. So it's all about being genuine and being authentic, being in the moment, and really being in yourself, really loving yourself, trusting yourself, being in your body, and then moving from that place. And that can be a little bit bumpy. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it can still and will still be so much more quality, because your authenticity is just, you know, shining through what you're doing, rather than try and follow, you know, a script of certain seduction moves that you've learned somewhere or that you used before. So, and then allow the spontaneous moment to evolve. That is not a repetition. I mean, that's the classic thing with couples that have been together for a long time, that sex becomes monotonous and boring. It's just like the last time. And when we allow ourselves to come into the moment, and connection happens, then, and allow ourselves to be guided by that connection, that will lead us to authentic interaction that's not scripted, that's different to the last time. So that your lovemaking and your seduction and foreplay is never the same as the last time. It's always fresh and new and different, because you're allowing yourself to be guided. You're not in your head following a plan, but you're being guided by your heart and your body and your connection with her, your connection to spirit, your higher guidance, if you wish. And yeah, so let me know what you think about that. If there's any more questions from that, we can talk about that another time too. There was one more question that I had in the email that I wanted to respond to. This man was asking, or was just saying that he feels very attracted to the, what is it called again, that lift and carry lovemaking position, where the man lifts the woman up and she puts her legs around his waist, and they have sex with him inside her while he's standing holding her. And so he was saying that he was felt attracted to that, and he said, is that a good position? It goes really deep, you know, so that could be a good thing perhaps. And my 2 cents on that, and again, everybody's different, but I know what it feels like physically for a woman to experience that, and which is different to what it feels like for the male-bodied person. When a man enters the woman, you're literally entering her, you're inside her. So whatever you're doing when you're inside her is really, she will really feel it. And this is why I've talked about this before as well. It's so important, again, to be embodied, that you're really backing your lovemaking moves with your whole body, that you have strength and flexibility, and that you're not, like, the more you're not in your body, the more disembodied you are, the more rigid and tense you are, the jerkier will be your movements, the more insensitive you will be, the more rough you will come across. And all those things can be a turn off for the woman, because it can hurt her. And it's kind of, even if it doesn't hurt, it's just kind of not smooth. So when you're inside a woman, my advice would be always be really purposeful with every movement you make. Don't let any movement be like a passage from one position to the next position, and that space in between moving from that position to that is kind of just some kind of haphazard, you know, move, because that, for a woman, when she has you inside her body, can feel like a shock. It can literally feel like a shock to the system when you know, you're making love and all of a sudden you're moving. You decide to change the position while you're inside her. And what happens then, like, either if she can get hurt, or what probably will happen before she gets hurt, is that she'll automatically tense up to protect herself. So she'll tense her vagina muscles so that you won't accidentally, hit her cervix in an angle that will hurt or something. So to connect that then with the carry, lift, lovemaking position, that position is very delicate in that sense, that if you're lifting her up already, that is like like that for a woman, like it can potentially hurt her when you're hitting the cervix, because it will be really deep. And if you're then kind of trying to lift her up, which is also something that I understand the attraction for the man, because it really brings out your masculine strength, because she likely couldn't do that to you, but you can do it to her because you got more muscle strength. You're physically a lot stronger in most cases. But as a lovemaking position, I don't think it's ideal. I don't think so. I think it's too much risk that there's jerkiness, there's bumpiness, and she ends up having to actually tense up her body in protection, and that means she can't really relax and enjoy it. So that's my 2 cents on that position. I mean, carry her around while you don't have her penis inside, inside her. carry her around, lift her by all means. I mean, that's beautiful. If you want to grab her and bring it to the bedroom in the right moment, then that could be beautiful. But not while you're inside her, I think. Unless she's specifically asking for that, then yeah, then go ahead, of course. And always bring me questions, because it gives me the opportunity to know what to talk about here, you know? And if it's something that I don't know about, then I could bring in a guest who knows more about a specific topic as well. So drop me a comment, even if you're watching the replay. Always like or love or drop a comment, because that will bring the video up so more people in our group will see it. Otherwise, the algorithm sometimes makes it that only a few people will see it. So like that, you're helping others to access the content. It's not too hard to click a like. I mean, you can click any emoji for that. You don't have to click the like one. You can click the angry one if you want, but I'll probably private message you then and find out what's going on. But even that will help the visibility. That's why the influencers don't actually mind a bit of haters, because the haters will still bring up the visibility for their videos, and that's a good thing. More people will see and learn and find out. Okay, everyone, thank you for watching. Have a beautiful weekend and a beautiful week, and I'll see you sometimes next week. Okay, bye for now.